Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Geeks on Dice. This is Geeks Talk with Nate from WASD 20. Hi, Nate.
Hello. Good to be with you, Zach. Sorry I was late tonight. If people were wondering why we didn't start at a certain time, it was all me.
That's okay. Everybody gets confused. Everyone's super busy, especially right now. It seems like so many people are so busy.
Yep, it's true.
So I'm gonna start this off with this real quick because, as I said before, but no one can see because of syncing problems with YouTube. In the video with Tim Kearney, I was talking about a year and a half ago, I decided to start playing D&D. But like many other people, I had no idea where to start, what to do. I didn't even know that there was books involved. I knew there was dice, and that was about it. So like any other person who needs instructions these days, I turned to YouTube, where one of the first things I came across was WASD 20. And from you, Nate, I learned the basics of rolling characters, running fights, as in the initiative order, everything about it, making dungeons, and of course drawing up maps. So huge thanks to you, Nate, for all of that. That's most of my skill set came from watching your videos.
Oh, well, thanks, man. That means a lot. And yeah, I am honored and hope that I didn't screw you up too much.
Not even at all. My players keep coming back, so hopefully you taught me something right.
Hey, good.
Yeah, I started there, and one of your videos, you made a character called Sandra Denara, who I love, is an amazing character, which led me to the Provokers, and then I soon found out that whoa, people stream games of D&D like that. That just seemed so foreign to me.
Yeah.
But again, through the Provokers, I found out that D&D had its own YouTube channel. So from there I watched Out of the Abyss. I got turned on to Dice Camera Action, and between the three of those shows is kind of how I learned to run my games more episodic. And I know that the Provokers is run by Matt, but I always, as a DM, believe that the characters are what makes the story. So it's really cool having you on here. It was really cool having Tim on here too. It's really too bad the video didn't come up.
Oh, yeah. I think when we started the Provokers, streaming games was a much more novel thing at that time. Back in 2014. Some people had been doing it for years already, here and there, but it was a much more novel thing. We had not yet had the Twitch revolution that we see now, where it's just like every night you can find several D&D live streams that are regular and pretty high quality in terms of production value and such.
Right. And then you got the stray person like me who's films everything from a Chromebook.
Yeah, you get by with what works, and I will continue to encourage anyone just to turn on a smartphone or a camera or a webcam or whatever and start talking and share RPG ideas. The more the merrier, and you don't need much.
It only helps the hobby. And like I said, I've only been playing for a year or so, or a year and a half or so. And after my first campaign, which was about 6 months long, I got, again, a lot of inspiration came from different things that happened in the Provokers, between character decisions, making moral quandaries. Like when your elf character, Eric? No. Oh, man, what was his name?
Erdon.
Eridon, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
When he had to do something that I could physically see you as a player not wanting to do, but something the character seen needed to be done was executing someone after the elevator fight.
Yeah.
Which was a big moment. And
Yep.
that's kind of the moment it clicked to me that, when you play a video game all the time, you get these certain options because that's what a player would do. But in D&D, it's you get into the head in the mind game of, what would your character do? What does your character see fit in this moment? And that inspired me to start putting in different moral quandaries and all that kinds of stuff. In fact, shout out to Matt Click. Um, his riddle in I think the second episode it was with the Dwarven Ghost.
Yep.
I put that in one of my games like right away, and it took my players, I don't know, an hour and a half at least to figure it out.
Oh man, yeah. I just made a video last week of a dungeon that I ran about a month ago.
Yeah, I just
and Dwarven Ghost who's telling a riddle. I didn't use the same riddle, but I absolutely stole that concept of this Dwarven Ghost who's, you know, the ancestor of someone who the party knows, and yeah, I mean,
I kept trying to drop him more hints too, and it just made me crack up more and more the longer it took, and to the point where I couldn't breathe until finally my cousin who was in the game was like, "Is it leaves?" I'm like, and I just started dying laughing. I'm like, "Yep." Spoiler alert to anyone that hasn't seen that, but
yeah. Oh man, yep, those are fun.
It was so good. That's just a fount of inspiration, and then
for me too.
And then at one point, even that first campaign, because I think we finished that campaign at level 8 after beating the big boss, they leveled up again.
Yeah.
So even just level 6 and 7, getting to those middle level fights are the middle level encounters and running a game for kind of higher level characters, because a lot of people don't play past level 10 or 12 anymore.
Yeah.
Watching the games with Oath of the Frozen King.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha. Yep.
You run them. I've seen a couple other people run them.
Yep.
And it's never ran the same way twice, which is an amazing thing about Dungeons and Dragons is you can do literally the same module over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, and that one especially is one that, you know, they really designed as a tool set to, you know, to be able to do that, just to tweak it. Here's a bunch of stuff. You throw it in any order you want, and some of it you can't use because you can't fit it all in one adventure. And so props to those guys for putting together awesome stuff. But it is also the beauty of the hobby. I think what they really do is they capitalize on what a lot of dungeon masters already do with adventure modules, which is use them as inspiration and hack them up and, you know, and make them their own. And they recognize that dungeon masters do that better than other adventure modules.
Right. And excuse me. I retweeted, I think I even added Matt Click on it. That Geek and Sundry kind of gave a shout out to not only the Oath of Frozen King, but kind of the AbTab publishing group too at the same time. And I saw that and I got really excited for them.
Yeah.
Being part of the AbTab group on Facebook, you know, it just.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. That was super cool to see. It's still on their front page. If you go to Geek and Sundry, scroll down a little bit, you'll see an image of the Frozen King and click on that. And they talk all about AbTab and their adventure kits. The latest Kickstarter right now is Shadows Over Drift Chapel, which is in this really cool setting of Gloam. That's kind of a gothic, Lovecraftian in a way, fantasy, just crazy gonzo stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Is that still being kickstarted right now?
Yeah, it is. It's got about 10 days left, I believe. Let me check here. Shadows Over Drift Chapel. Yeah, they linked to it on the page, which is awesome. Yeah, it's at $18,000 right now and 11 days to go. I actually haven't backed it yet. I gotta do that. Friday, payday.
Yep, I was just gonna say the same thing. Payday is when I'm backing it. So
yeah, totally, man. I hear you. It's like, man, there's so many products these days competing for our dollars, right? So it's a good problem to have. There's so many cool RPG Kickstarters and accessories and just tons of stuff. So yeah, but this is one that's definitely a must back for me. Plus, I think I'm going to be a featured artist in it, and I should probably have a copy of. I want to have a hard copy of the thing where I can see my art in it too. So, yeah,
that's the thing about like I said, I advertise the Absolute Tabletop, the official RPG group on Facebook, whole title, all the time, and I put the links on almost all of my videos, and it's really hard to scroll through that page anymore and not see a Kickstarter that you're like, take all my money.
Yeah.
Let me help you make this so I can have it and I can use it, and I want these toys. And
yes, absolutely. Yep. Oh man. We're in a renaissance, you know?
Yep.
It's a golden age, maybe we could say. I think.
It's absolutely wonderful. And it's, from what I understand, one of the best times to get into the hobby too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's just more and more, tools out there, more and more diversity in the hobby, I think, in terms of, all kinds of factors, different types of people getting into it, and different styles of play. Yeah, there's a lot.
Right.
And then, you also have different RPGs that are just like, people are making crazy, crazy stuff. You want to play My Little Ponies? There's a game for that.
Tales of Equestria. My daughter has it.
Yeah, there you go.
We read it now and then.
Yep.
And it's funny too, because I've shown dozens of pictures of my whole RPG collection, which is basically just 5e stuff, because, like I said, very new. So it's almost every 5e Wizards of the Coast book, and then I have Cryfoth, which was a Kickstarter through the AbTab group too for a long time. I was a playtester on that. I've had Connor on my channel. Should be having him back here pretty soon, which will be really cool.
Yeah.
And then I got like Vampires of the Masquerade and a couple other odd and end things that I got on sale when one of my local stores was going out of business. So everything was super cheap. And then I also have Tales of Equestria right next to all of that dark and kind of gritty stuff.
Yeah. That's funny. Yep. Nope. So it goes, you love the game, you'll find any way to do it. And yeah, I mean, that's a fun one that, yeah, introducing to your daughter is, that's really special. So
yeah. Yep. We read through it a little bit, but she likes to play Dungeons and Dragons more, honestly. And I've tried other things. I tried to lighten up on all the rules with her. Mostly it's just roll on the D20. Do you get the thing? Do you do the thing? If not, that's okay. We can figure something else out. If you do it, cool. Let's see what happens next, and she loves it. She likes to fight monsters and take the loot and buy the things and help the people in the village. So
yeah. How old is she?
8.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's I've got a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, and we tried No Thank You Evil. And it was fun, but I think they really just like the more dungeon crawl type of stuff. I ran a game for my son that was pretty much a standard dungeon crawl at a local convention. This was about 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. Pretty standard dungeon crawl. There wasn't much intro before they were into the action. But he was still asking, I have 2 other players and my son, adult players and my
right.
son. When are we going to fight, Dad? Like, I was like, come on, kid. It's been like 12 minutes here. Like, it's coming.
They love getting right to the action.
Yep. Yeah. And it probably totally depends on the kid, but I think for a lot of kids, that's the fun of the game. It's like, ooh, what cool miniature or pawn is my dad going to put out, and what, and what treasure will there be after I kill this thing?
Yeah. And I've played with a lot of adult players that still like that kind of murder hobo, kill the things, take the loot, buy the things to kill things better.
Yes.
So on and so forth. My dad is a player like that.
Yeah.
So my daughter likes to DM when she can, and it's usually you fight this monster, and then you fight the boss monster.
Yeah.
Awesome, because my first 2 months, probably, when I was still trying to figure out all the rules and how to do role play and all this other, because I dove straight into it head first.
Yep.
So when I was trying to kind of figure it out and run games at the same time and learn as I went, I did exactly the same thing. So I encourage it. So,
yeah.
And then I take her aside every now and then and we play games. Like I played a game with her, my dad, my brother, my brother's girlfriend, and my cousin where they didn't have any weapons. They started out shipwrecked and basically abducted in a prison cell. They went through a whole interrogation scene. They moved on to, they made friends with the people that took them because apparently I kind of made it up as I went. But I guess what happened was they crossed into enemy territory and they didn't even know it. They were on a ship. So they attacked them. They were taken to the jail cells. All their stuff was taken from them. And then after they made friends, they were given transport to the island that they were originally going to, which they made up. And then I just kind of made up that it was an island that had like an exploding eruption at one point. And then they landed on the beach, and from there it was like survival. What do we do? Okay, we got to make spears so we can get the fish. We got to make nets so we can catch, more fish because they weren't working with the spears. They were trying to figure out what vital resources were on there, and it was a good exercise for her to learn that there was more than just fighting.
Yep.
And I encourage all DMs to do this at some point. And then it was good for my dad to learn how to kind of role play because him and my brother's girlfriend that I mentioned, Misty, neither of them are very good role players. They're the murder hobos in my adult groups.
Yeah.
So I put them in a situation where they were twin half elves and gave them both. Everybody got one magic item, and they both got what I call the speaking stone, which is a sending stone where you could talk to each other, basically walkie-talkie style.
Yeah, nice.
So I made them have to role play with each other and just kind of let them go, which again is a very interesting exercise, even with adults to do. So I encourage it with kids, and I kind of went down a weird rabbit hole that I didn't mean to here, but
no, that's good. Yeah, I think I've definitely come around to the notion of being okay with a group that just wants to kill things and get treasure. My group isn't quite that, but it's a time honored tradition, and I am able to have fun in a game like that. As a DM or a player, I can handle it, and I can get into that. That is not the style that I started on. With like Provokers was kind of like one of my first steady campaigns, and it was not that style. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it for sure.
Yeah. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And there's whole dedicated. The Wizards of the Coast is about to put out a whole like old school dungeon crawl 100-level maze where that's all it is dungeon crawling, killing things. I haven't heard too much on actual story. I've heard lots of lore on different levels and stuff. The Mad Mage.
Yeah, I think like any good mega dungeon, there has to be some inter-dungeon politics going on, right? Like I ran Sunless Citadel a while back, and there's you've got the kobolds and you've got the goblins, and you have kind of opportunities to ally yourselves with some of the kobolds, and anyway, so I think there will be certainly a lot of that. I don't think they're going to go totally just like, hey, here's a dungeon with monsters. There will be a story and all that. But at the same time, like, yeah, that one is one that I think a lot of people are excited about because it's just like, who doesn't love a good dungeon crawl? Who doesn't love like just 20 levels of craziness, right?
Right. And I love that they put out Dragon Heist just recently. Everyone's getting the books now. Everyone already has the PDF. It's on D&D Beyond, and everyone's running through that game. And they planned it out just to where people that play a weekly, bi-weekly game are getting to the end of that campaign just in time for this next thing to come out. So now all the DMs got to get the new book. And that's just great marketing.
It's genius. I love it. I hope they do more of that sort of thing for sure. It's excuse me. Man. Similar to what Pathfinder does with their adventure paths, which are great. Like the Pathfinder adventure paths are awesome. I don't play Pathfinder, but I love the adventure paths. I've got a couple of them, and they're cool. So Yeah, I think it's super smart, and you can play it in a standalone fashion, or you can play them together.
Speaking of tools and Pathfinder, one of the tools that I use a lot in my home game is the Pathfinders. They have the map tiles they can rearrange and make into different dungeons and
Nice.
or whatever. CDs, I mean cities or whatever. And I do it all. Used to get them all the time before my local shop closed, but they're almost infinitely useful.
That's cool. So these are actual tiles. Huh? I haven't seen those.
Well, yeah, they're just little, about the size of index cards. They're glossy, instead of like the fold-out map.
Yeah, because I've got a couple of the fold-out maps, and I do have some dungeon tiles that I can draw on. But yeah, I'll have to look into those. I know Wizards of the Coast used to make some of those. I think it's been a while.
They're super useful too.
Yeah.
I did not expect that I would use them that much, especially since at the time I had like maybe 5 miniatures altogether.
Yeah.
Now I have like a little bucket somewhere of just unpainted miniatures because I don't have time to paint them.
Oh, that's me too, man. I've got so many. It's like half the time when I'm running games, I'm just pulling out an unpainted miniature and going like, here you go. And my players are like, I got one player who says, I'll paint those for you. And I just can't let him do that for me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's...
Maybe I'm greedy. I don't know.
And that, I mean, mine is to the point where I have all these white and gray miniatures because they're all unpainted, but they're pre-primed to be painted, and I just don't have the paint. And my dad went and bought these random things that have, it's like collect them all type deal.
Yeah.
Like the surprise boxes of different goblins, and they all come pre-painted.
Yep.
And when my daughter opened them for him, she says, Dad, these guys are actually different colors. I'm like, I know the other ones are supposed to be, but
yeah, that's funny.
But speaking of maps, did you do the maps for Oath of the Frozen King?
So I did one page in that book, and that is the dungeon drop dice method. I did a book, or just an image that showed, and I drew some dice rearranged with stuff drawn around it, and then I drew like the final a dungeon basically at the bottom of the page. So yeah, that was cool. That was a different art style for me. I drew a lot of inspiration for that really from Runehammer, Hankerin. I really dig his stuff, and he's been teaching me art. He might not know it, but he's been teaching me a lot about art just by watching his videos on YouTube. And so I'm doing something similar for the next book as well, Shadows over Driftchapel.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What, I mean, that's got to be kind of surreal to see your stuff in a published book.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's really cool. I like having those books on the shelf and just being able to like open it up and say, hey, this is cool. I was a part of this. It's fun. Yeah. I did the that map, and I did like the Aeronath map, the world map. That's been published, and I guess I did the Aeronath logo too. Although I made the shape of the letters, and then Tim took it and made it all look like metallically cool and like, yeah. So anyway, that was a collaboration, I suppose. I credit Tim for making it look more awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. And the Oath of the Frozen King got nominated for an Emmy, which is crazy.
Really?
For the in the best maps category or best cartography.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I will theorize that all of us got to ride the coattails of John Pintar for drawing this crazy, amazing isometric dungeon map. Although I will say the Heroic Maps folks did some pretty awesome maps for that too. They work with AbTab pretty closely, and they collaborate. So Heroic Maps, if people are watching, check them out on DriveThruRPG. They've got some good stuff. So yeah, I was one of 3 cartographers, but we all got our names up there on the Emmy nominations, which was really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was not expected. I'll tell you that. It's like, what? Anyway, yeah, I'm hopeful that is the first of many times that AbTab will be nominated for an Emmy, and I hope they win one. I think they have a good chance because they make amazing stuff.
Yeah. And again, congrats to the AbTab Publishing Group, because that's just living the dream is what they're doing.
Yeah. And it's I think living the dream for them would probably be doing it full time. And they're not there yet, but they're on their way, and they're doing really well. So I'm happy for them.
In all honesty, and this is just a prediction, I'm hoping I'm not cursing them, but I honestly believe in maybe the next 2-3 books they might be able to get themselves to a level of popularity where they could probably do that, where they do this full time.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? I don't know how close they are, but it's cool to see them doing well and growing.
And seeing the mentions and stuff. And that's like, I remember it was a big like buzz deal, and I posted the video to the AbTab group because I watch all of the Chris Perkins interviews, and I watch the Lore You Should Know all the time. And
yep.
I just started watching the Afternoons of Pat Rothfuss, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But I was watching one of the interviews, and not Chris Perkins with them, and he mentions Matt Click by name.
Wait, who now? Sorry, you cut out right at that moment.
I can't remember who it was, but he was in the interview with Perkins.
Yeah. I think it might have been Jeremy Crawford or was Mike Merles. Yeah, but I think it was Jeremy Crawford. Yeah. That was crazy.
And I just remember posting on the AbTab. I'm like, Matt, look, everybody look.
Yeah.
What just happened? And I was like, super proud for him.
Yeah, because he's doing some freelancing, freelance editing for them. So yeah, that's really cool.
So I did want to talk to you, kind of geeking out here for a minute, about your Provoker characters.
Sure, yeah.
Because I know you guys did like a follow-up session. You were all supposed to do follow-up sessions about your characters with Matt. And I remember seeing one with Dice.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember seeing any other ones. So what the airtime?
Yeah, no. Scheduling happened, I think. Yep, it's one of those things. I think we all have about, talk to any of us in the Provokers, and we've probably all got about 5 of those things that we've said, like, I'm going to do this, and they just don't happen. Yep. It's like I got videos on my channel where I'm like, and next time I'll be, and it's just like, that didn't. Here's my biggest one. I have a mini painting series where I'm like, how to paint Reaper Bones.
Mm-hmm.
First one, prep. Second one, selecting paint and brushes. Third one, base coating. And maybe I talked about highlighting, or I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was base coats and highlight. And then the fourth one, here we are 2 years later. And it still hasn't come out. I still haven't even finished painting the miniature. I've got some of the raw video on my desktop. It's been on my desktop for 2 years, and it's just staring at me. Maybe I'll do it someday. So it's just one of those things.
That's kind of why I do all my videos live stream, because between not knowing how to edit in the first place, not having the hardware to do it, and knowing that I'm a procrastinator by nature. Yep. And I know this. Unless I give myself hard deadlines, like my Halloween special that I'm going to be doing, I know I have to have it ready by October 21st.
Yep, there you go.
So if I don't do stuff like that, it's just going to sit around for a long time.
Yeah. Yep. No, absolutely. And I do that with, I do that with my students too. Actually, I'm a teacher, so I'll actually say stuff like, all right, I'll have these papers graded to you by, because they'll ask, when are you going to have them graded? When are you going to have them graded? And I'll just say Friday. And then that, like, me saying that, it motivates me to try to deliver.
Then you get home, you're like, oh, now I actually have to grade their papers.
Yep. Oh man, stuff's piling up right now. But yeah,
you got to kind of run like a D&D seminar type thing for your students at one point, didn't you?
yeah, I get to do that well, not every, but I've done it twice, and I'm doing it this January. I did it last January. It's a class. It's a 2-week class, 3 hours a day for like 9 or 10 days. And it's called So You Want to Slay a Dragon, and it's a class all about tabletop role-playing games. So it's a lot of fun. It's an enriching experience for all involved.
Really cool. Would that be like listed as an extracurricular activity?
No, it's part of our winterim program. So it's a January term, 2-week January term that we have where it's just like, hey, kids, go get internships, travel, see the world. We offer trips. Or take some classes that you normally wouldn't be able to take, like Hip Hop 101 and like, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Spanish in the community, where they just go out and like speak Spanish around the city and go visit like Spanish speaking organizations, all kinds of crazy stuff. There's and awesome stuff.
Organizations in Grand Rapids too.
Yeah. And then I've done a video game class too. I did one that was called Video Games History and Critical Thinking. And I've taken a lot of that material to my RPG class now in terms of just talking about gaming in general. And yeah, just some of the topics we discussed have not changed too much from my video games class, but obviously there's a lot that is new.
That's super cool that you do that though.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's one of the favorite things about my job is getting to teach RPGs every January.
Yeah.
And we have a D&D club too, which is cool. I'm unfortunately I can't be super involved in that just because I have young kids that I usually have to pick up right after school.
Right.
But yeah.
And it's crazy to think that even happens at school anymore, considering at one point where D&D is, you didn't want anyone to know that you were playing Dungeons and Dragons or any tabletop RPG of any kind.
Totally. Yeah, we've got 42, I think, last I counted, 42 wow. students involved in RPG Club. So that's pretty awesome.
That was I think the big thing when I started saying, all right, I want to get into Dungeons and Dragons, and I posted on Facebook, I'm like, I don't think anyone, and these are people I've known since like middle school, I'm like, I don't think anyone actually plays Dungeons and Dragons. Can anyone help me out? And like 14 people show up, and I'm like, I've literally hung out with you every day of the summer before and had no clue.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Yep. Super cool.
So you also, I mean, obviously you do WASD 20, and we've talked about maps a little bit, but you get commission maps? Is that, I don't know how to say the wording for Sellsword maps.
Yeah, no, that's how you would say it, I guess. Yeah, I do commission maps. So people pay me to draw maps. And yeah, it's something that goes in spurts. I could be working steadily with, several maps every month if I wanted to, but I probably end up scaring some people away just by saying, sorry, it's going to be 6 months. That's kind of how it is right now. It's like trying to slow things down, trying to prioritize putting out a video every week. And sometimes that can be hard enough. And then you add a couple hours, 4 or 5 hours if I want to be steady of mapping every week. And it's just like, it's getting tough. So I've got a couple I'm behind. So I bit off a little more than I could chew over the summer, and I'm still working on those, and probably will be for another 3-4 weeks.
Yep.
And then I'm taking a break for a couple months.
Right. And that's another thing. To all the people that have only been players in games, especially home games, where your DM has gone through the effort of making custom maps, I don't think you understand how much goes into this and how the hours.
Yeah.
Literal hours, because it's even when you get done after 2-3 hours of putting into this, even just a dungeon you're going into one time, and you look at it and you're like, I don't like the way this is set up. I got to start all over again. Happens to me 1,000 times a day.
Yeah.
Well, not a day, but 1,000 times before I decide on something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is, it's like writing, you know, it's like any creative pursuit. Sometimes you're just, no, how am I gonna, you know, and, yeah, but I think you get more comfortable with it for sure. And I don't do that as much anymore. Yeah, I tend to make things that I'm happy with more often now, which is good. I still will look back on what I'm doing now 5 years from now and be like, oh,
Yeah,
but
see,
that's part of growth.
and see, I'm at the point right now where, especially with putting out on my game, well, half of my D&D sessions now, because I play a home game every week, and then I play, you know, do my Curse on Dice, which is my stream game every week.
Yeah.
And every time I do it, every now and then I'll go back and I'll look at one of my videos, and I only make it about 10 minutes in. And this is why I say I'm a bad DM and I never actually watch my videos, is because I'll watch it for like 10 minutes and then just cringe too much and be like, oh, you messed up here. You changed the voices again. Why can't you hold on to the same voice for more than 5 minutes? Nope, that wasn't in this map. You're in the wrong city. What are you doing? Just kind of yelling at me. Even like I'll do the same thing for the video I put out 2 weeks ago. When I do the new video, so I can recap and know what's going on fresh in my mind. And I'm like, why'd you do that? Why didn't you do it this way? You know, it's just, we're running Curse of Strahd, and I kind of have it like open world. Where do you guys want to go? I've showed them the map a few times. I think a couple of them have the book, so they know the map a little bit, and it's just, so, you know, it's wherever they want to go, and it's how do I make that transition all of a sudden, and that's where the improv comes in.
Yeah. No, that's challenging, and I've heard that Curse of Strahd in particular is pretty challenging to run. But yeah, I mean, it's easy to be critical of yourself, but you just keep on going, and like you said, your players keep showing up, so you're doing something right, you know.
And that's another point too about being critical to yourself. Any kind of creator, especially, you know, any kind of creator, writers, map makers, artists, and this would include dungeon masters, because we are artists in a way in what we do.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be critical to yourself, but learn from your criticisms.
Yeah.
Move on and grow.
Right. Totally. Yep. That's the key.
So speaking of that, so I've been asking everyone, or trying to ask everyone, do you have any advice for new players and DMs, other than the usual like 5 buzz phrases that I just can't pull to my mind at the moment? So anything.
Yeah, mine are probably going to be the fairly usual ones. I think the biggest one is just go. Just go. Yeah, especially with Dungeon Mastery, it's going to be rough at first. But players too, you know, I get players who say, I don't know how to play. I don't know. I got to learn before I show up. It's like, no, just go. Just show up. Dungeon Masters, you know, got a little more homework, but do your homework and then don't be afraid to just say, all right, let's play. You know? Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, is just do it. And I think that, you know, being flexible and trying to just get comfortable with improv, whether you're a player or a dungeon master, is really important. And realizing, you know, with the player flexibility, realizing that this is about the group. It's not just about me getting to play the character that I want to play. It's about how can we tell a cool story together and have a lot of fun.
And to that point, one thing I would like to point out is, in most Dungeons and Dragons groups, in particular, this is any tabletop RPG group, I guess it would extend to, I've only played D&D, so that's all I know. But most groups, when you start playing, it's because your friend who's been playing for up to 10 years says, hey, I think you would like this game. Mm-hmm. And then he gets a group you in with a group, maybe even a group of people that other people that have never played. I'm
Yeah.
starting a lot today. So it's all of you that don't really know what's going on, but he might elect someone else to learn how to dungeon master. So they're on the spot learning how to dungeon master, but he says, and to that experienced player, you know, you just say, it's okay. I'll help you through this. I'll teach you how all this works as we go along. And I had that player with me for my whole first campaign, teach me about different class things that I didn't know anything about, because every game I play, I'm a hard magic user. So I only looked at the wizard, the warlock, and the sorcerer. And none of my players picked any of those things. So I couldn't help anyone. And so he taught me, you know, all that kind of stuff. Defeat options instead of stat gains. He was just immensely helpful. And he kept reminding me different things. Even as the player, the rest of the party let out that audible groan, because he's helping the dungeon master remember, oh, this monster can do this thing, and you're not utilizing that right now.
Yeah. Yep, that happens to me all the time. Oh, man. Yep.
But it's good to have them around. It really is.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So other than Drift Chapel, because we know all know about that, and we're all going to be backing it by the time it comes out.
All of us.
Yes. All of us. You got any other? Do you have any other new and exciting projects you're helping out with? I know you have a really busy schedule too.
You know, I don't really have anything. Particular in the works. I'm considering. So I'm going to be redoing my Patreon page in the coming months. And this past week, I did a video that was like a dungeon. And hey, here's a dungeon for your game, and here's a map if you want it. And for my patrons, I gave them like a special, like, more high def version of the map that had a lot of the notes erased, so that it could be maybe a little more player friendly in terms of just putting it on the table or virtual tabletop. So I enjoyed that process, and I'm thinking about, you know, maybe my Patreon will become more of a dungeon map focused sort of thing. I've thought that for a long time, that maybe just doing like 1-page dungeons. But anyway, these are all just kind of things I'm thinking about. Just trying to continue growing as an artist and as a video creator. How can I keep growing? And I've got some fun videos that I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be doing the D&D Buyer's Guide coming up soon. Because it's been like 3 years, maybe almost 3 years, I think, since I did that last one. And there's been a lot of books that have come out since then. So yeah, I feel like I should redo that. D&D Rule School is something that I'll continue kind of chipping away at. That's a series that I enjoy making a lot, but it's a ton of work. So I'll chip away at that here and there. Probably end up being like a couple episodes a year by the time, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, nothing in particular. I just trying to keep afloat and keep on having fun with things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that is the end of my notes. So we still got another 10, 20 minutes here. If you got anything you would like to talk about.
Yeah, I don't think I do. Yeah, I mean, I guess if people are watching this, thanks so much. And I thank you for having me, Zach. It's always fun to just talk to new people and get to know new people in the community and share experiences of RPGs. More of that is always good.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's a big honor to me to have you here, because you basically taught me everything I know about Dungeons and Dragons. So really, really cool.
Cool.
So I guess plugs then. Nate has a channel and a Patreon.
Yeah. And you can check out my maps on sellswordmaps.com if you're just curious about seeing some of my work there. A little behind. I got one more I got to post Just finished last week, but yeah, I'm on Twitter. Just search WASD20 and you'll find me. I'm on Instagram now. That's kind of weird. I put off that for a long time. I feel like I'm not hip enough for Instagram, but there I am. Facebook. I'm trying to cover my bases.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All the social medias.
Yeah. So yeah, come if you're watching this, come, follow and talk to me. I like talking to people.
And don't forget, I will definitely be putting the link to Nate's WASD20 in the description below. And from there, I'm sure you'll be able to find some way, somehow, links to everything Nate does.
Yeah.
And it's all good. Trust me.
Well, thank you.
And as always, please be sure to check out the Absolute Tabletop official RPG group to meet more people like me and Nate.
Yeah.
Awesome people.
Cool place.
I know Connor's put out like 3 different things. Connor McNeil's put out like 3 different things in the last 2 days of just kind of creativity boosters and thought provokers along the way. And that happens all the time with all sorts of people. I do it with memes all the time. I'll post memes and then I'll put some kind of question with it usually. And it's just crazy to see how many different things people can come up with, especially in a group of like 5,000 D&D players.
Yeah.
And well over 3/4 of that is other dungeon masters. So just the ideas and the inspiration is just constantly flowing, which is a lot of fun. I also have 2 different Twitters. Mine, for me personally, is YZackY. And then the channels is at Geeks on Dice. You can follow both of those on Twitter, obviously. I'm just kind of repeating myself. It's really late here, guys.
I'm following right now.
All right, see? That makes a whopping 14 for me. Yes. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe. Comment who you want me to try and get on the channel next, even. So that would be cool. I have, I think, 2 more people lined up right now, and I'm running out of people because I only know people from the AppTap group. So, kind of a poll situation, see who I should add next, and I will probably just try to get all of them on here because I like having people, like Nate said, meeting new people in the hobby is always fun.
Yep.
Until the next video, check out Nate's channel, check out the AppTap group. Bye-bye.